is that something that SourceFin is all about? I mean, maybe you can take us through what SourceFin really does for the entrepreneurs that you guys work with. Is there a mentorship element that is mixed with a funding element? What's going on there?
Absolutely. So perfectly said. So what we noticed from the start was either there's a lack of funding in certain areas, or the funding is not being used in a way that is super effective. We found our niche area, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But in terms of our service offering, instead of just giving money to a person, putting it in the SMME's bank account and saying, this is your repayment date, I'll see you when that day hits. We walk through the entire journey. So we sit down, every single client we meet with in person in this office, we bring them in. Even if we have to fly them here, we do it. We meet them, we hear their story, we understand what their problems are. We then decide, is this something we can help with? Will we add value? And we work on a profit share basis, meaning we're almost JVing with you. We're doing this project together. We want to work with you because we want your project to work so we can all make money. And what we make sure is that every single client is treated in a way that we're not just a funding house that's going to inject money into your bank account and just forget about you. We're going to make sure that every single thing you might need, we'll help you find it. If it's sourcing, we'll go out and source with you. We'll buy you whatever you need to buy. If you need help on the ground, we'll send our project manager there. You need a lawyer? No problem. We've got a team of 6 or 8 lawyers here. You need an actuary, you need someone to help you with tax. Come to us. Don't worry. And it comes at no fee whatsoever. This is all part of the partnership. So that's the approach we took right from the start and we've carried through. And we've got clients who are good on the funding side. They've actually built up enough money themselves, but they love the ability to have SourceFin helping them on their projects, mentoring them. And eventually they might graduate and get to a point where they say, guys, thank you for taking me on this journey, but I'm good now. But most of the time people stay with us because we add that human element of being there. Whether it's mentorship, you might get guys that don't need the mentorship, but they want the back end support. It's here. We've got a team of 35 young professionals, guys that are experts in so many different fields. Tap into it. It's yours. The second you partner with us, this office is your home as well.
Yeah. So how does that then work? So if I'm not taking the funding, for instance, or the loan, right? Or the profit share agreement.
Yes.
But I'm saying, I love you guys as a partner and I want to work with you guys because I get the benefit of mentorship. I get the benefit of having a support team. How then does it work in that instance?
Absolutely. So it does sometimes happen where clients will come through and say, listen, I might not have a live deal I need you to fund, but I love the way you helped me on procuring and sourcing or getting me a quote on something, helping me with my taxes, whatever it might be. We're there. If you're a client that we've worked with, we help. We want
to see it for clients that have worked with you.
So if you're a new client and you've got a use case for it, of course we'd help. But by the same token, we're also a business. So we balance it. So of course, if we helped everybody for free, we wouldn't have a business. But by the same token, we're also working on training, development. This is a whole different business unit you're touching on that we'd like to do. So there are various elements. Most of the time, the guys do need funding, which is absolutely perfect. But if you need help to get to where you need to, bring it in. And if there's a use case, we'll help you.
Do you think you guys are reaching enough entrepreneurs? Looking at the South African landscape, is there a lot of people, black or white, that are starting businesses, that are putting themselves out there, that are coming to you guys and saying, listen, I need funding?
Absolutely. And we definitely not reaching enough people yet.
Yeah. And the reason I'm asking this question is that I'm looking at South Africa as a whole. I'm looking at the African landscape as a whole. And I'm thinking, do we have enough people starting businesses? Because earlier on, so I'm talking to this guy and he says to me, he's a website developer, something like that, right? Software developer. And he says, I've now merged my software development skills with AI. But I'm now working for a company that's based in Europe and I'm working from my house. Okay. And I said to him, okay, that might be good for you as an individual, but is that good for us as a country if we're losing the best people to other countries across the world?
For sure.
Right. And I'm asking and I'm bringing it back to you saying, do we have enough people that are saying, I'm passionate about entrepreneurship. I'm starting a business. I'm taking the risk. The business is growing. Now I'm finding SourceFin as a partner.
So it's a great question. I think part of the things is there might be a need or want people willing to do this, but they don't have support. There's nowhere to go. How do you get money? How do you get funded when you don't have a balance sheet, when you don't have security, when you don't come from money?
Yeah.
People are having to go and work a 9-to-5 job to make enough money to save up to then try and launch their business. So I think there are a lot of sort of hurdles where somebody like that in the software or tech game, where do they get funding from? You go to a bank, the bank says, no problem. Do you have a property or a car that I can bond? No, I don't. Okay, what's your balance sheet? No, well, it's a brand new business. I don't have financials yet.
Sure.
Cool, come back in 3 years. That's just going to stifle any potential entrepreneur from starting a business. So I think the desire is there. I think as South Africans, we're exceptionally entrepreneurial. I think South Africans love business, love coming up with new ideas. But I just think we're not yet developed enough to help and support everyone. And maybe it's bigger than just South Africa. Maybe it's a global issue. I've spent some time, I was lucky enough to go to the UK and the US last year to meet different funders, to see what guys are doing in the fintech space. And SMMEs are really at the core internationally
of any country's
economy. They're the backbone, and that's always going to be the case. But are the finance houses there to support them to get there? Is the government doing enough to make sure that you can go and do this?
Do you think the government is doing enough?
So do you know what's really interesting? We've actually been working with, for example, the government. We met some amazing guys, but in Gauteng, we're working with something called the Enterprise Propeller Fund. And a lot of people just don't know about it, but they geared up and they've got an amazing mandate to go out and help
the GEP, Gauteng Enterprise. Yeah.
So we actually have launched a partnership with them, SourceFin and GEPF. And, you know, we didn't even know about them. It's something that when we started SourceFin, we might have actually gone to them for funding, but we never knew. Then when we got big, we started noticing some clients graduated from them to us. We called them in, we said, guys, maybe there's some common grounds. They loved what we did. We loved what they did. I think it's just about knowing what's out there, who qualifies, how you qualify. For me, funding is always cash flow, and funding is going to be the key to unlocking the true potential for an SMME. If you don't have those two things, you're never going to get to that point where you've got these startups, these businesses. It's never going to work.
Yeah. So you said something about mentorship earlier on, you know, when you're narrating the story of your journey. And it made me wonder if there's a young person listening to you, they're like, yo, but this guy is well-spoken. This guy sounds smart. I'm not as smart as he is. I'm not as well-spoken as he is. How exactly does he find these mentors? And how can I, where I am, whether I'm in corporate somewhere, whether I'm selling bread at some bakery somewhere, how can I have access to these mentors?
Sure. So it's a great question. I think what I would say is this. I think firstly, people must never feel that because somebody's well-spoken or they haven't had the same background, they can't do things. We're all smart in different ways. We've all got different strengths. I think it's about narrowing what you're looking for. So if somebody approaches me and says, Josh, will you help me? Will you mentor me on this? I want to know before I commit my time. And remember, as a mentor, the person that's in the shoes, your most important commodity you have is your time.
Sure.
So if I'm going to invest my time in you, I want to know, what am I getting out from you? I will invest my time, but what am I getting from you? I don't need something for me personally, but I want to watch your growth. I want to make sure that what I'm doing is going to have an effect. So what I would say is, if somebody has that, go out and see what industry you want to go into. Don't just go up to a guy that's the CEO of a big bank, but you're looking to launch sort of a beauty range. Go out and find what you're looking for. Go to that mentor. Say, I love what you do. I've listened to your podcast. I listened to an interview. I saw what you do. It's incredible. You're a game changer. I haven't had the same background you had, but I want to learn. I just want to learn from someone like you, and make out your use case to that person. Tell me, come to me, say, Josh, I want to start a funding company. I want to start it small. How did you start SourceFin? Don't come and tell me that you want to go and, you know, become a baker and start selling bread, because I can't help you there.
Sure.
I think it's about knowing what you want. Tell them what your vision is. Tell them what you're looking to do, and explain to them what their investment of their time will see in you. They don't need money from you. They want to see you grow. They want to make sure what they're giving you in terms of their information is being absorbed and growing. That's really what a mentor wants to see.